Deciding what anime to watch can be really hard sometimes. Whether you just got into the medium or you've been a fan of it your whole life, we've all had points where we just can't seem to start a new show. I've personally been on a quest to watch as much as I possibly can, and to help me do that, I created a randomizer. This website I built can pick a completely random show from the over 24,000 entries on my anime list with just a click of a button. It can give me anything from some obscure 90s OVA to a movie that just came out last year to the entirety of One Piece. But no matter what my website picks for me, I'll be watching and reviewing the whole thing and letting you know if it's worth checking out. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Nothing's gonna go wrong, right? As you might know, 2023 will be my first year pursuing YouTube as a full-time job. And with that comes a lot of new goals I've been making and skills I want to improve. Things like time management, branding and marketing, and in particular, how to develop my creative voice. And it's because I'm trying to manage and learn these different things that I've been using today's sponsor, Skillshare. You may already know Skillshare for their classes in photography, film and video editing, and illustration. But did you know they also have hundreds of career-focused classes as well? Ones where you can learn to reinvent your goals and yourself. I've personally been looking at classes like Real Productivity: How to Build Habits That Last by Thomas Frank, which helps you achieve long-term goals by breaking them down into more manageable routines, as well as Everyone is Creative: 5 Exercises to Reconnect with Your Inner Creativity by Allison Kohler, which teaches you how to get past mental blocks through 5 practical exercises you can do at home. If those classes sound interesting and you want to join a community of people looking to improve themselves and their careers, you can do so by clicking the link in the description down below. The first 1,000 people to use the link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare to help you on your journey. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Back to the episode. Spin number 1. This will be the first anime I will have watched since, I think, my last video. It's been a while. It's been like a month since I've watched anything. So hopefully I get something somewhat interesting. Let's see. Original 2021. So the very first thing I watched ended up being a music video, which I'm actually surprised I haven't gotten until now. There is an insane amount of music videos on my anime list, as well as a bunch of other random stuff, and I've been pretty lucky in avoiding them so far. But because I got a music video, that means I can't show you anything that I watched, because copyright exists. So this music video in particular is original by Dust Cell. Dust Cell is a virtual J-pop duo composed of vocalist Emma and producer Misumi. They debuted under the label Kamatsubaki in 2019 with their song Cult, and have been regularly putting out music and music videos as recently as a month ago. Their music is very straightforward electronic J-pop with very big influences from K-pop, Vocaloid, and Japanese rap due to the duo's background in that. Now, I'll be honest and say my knowledge of J-pop is very shallow, basically coming entirely from the anime OPs that I sometimes listen to, but funnily enough, the upbeat energy that Dust Cell brings is very similar to something you'd hear at the beginning of a show. They actually remind me a lot of artists like Maison Des and Yaosobi, who have done the music for the new Urusei Yatsura and Oshi no Ko openings. Again, can't play any of it for you, so you'll just have to look it up on your own if you're interested. And continuing on the topic of anime OPs, you have the videos that go along with a lot of Dust Cell's YouTube uploads, which are these incredibly well-animated sequences all done by different prominent artists, many of whom have actually animated for big shows. Just as an example, the song Inside had a video directed by Ryoji Yamada, the person behind the opening for Odd Taxi. Needless to say, Dust Cell's music videos are insane looking, and Original is no different. Being animated by Yazarushi, it's this super stylistic 3D animation with tons of surreal and quick cut shots that almost lean into horror more than anything, and they're paired with a very rhythmic electronic dance beat that I was basically dancing to the whole time. But again, I am not a music nerd. I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to what makes a song good. All I can say is that I enjoyed Dust Cell's music enough to add it to a Spotify playlist, and I'm giving Original a should listen. Okay, really weird to get a music video. I feel like in the future, if I get a music video or something that is like obviously not something I can show on YouTube, then I'm probably just gonna skip it. But we'll see. Let's spin again. City Hunter, Goodbye My Sweetheart. Our second anime of the day, and it is an actual anime this time, is City Hunter, Goodbye My Sweetheart, also known as City Hunter the Motion Picture. And from that title alone, you would probably guess that this is the feature film debut of the City Hunter anime. However, you'd be wrong, because it's actually like the 6th City Hunter film, and it's not even a theatrical one, it's a TV movie. Yeah, I was super confused too. Let me try to explain. So City Hunter was originally a manga that ran from 1985 to 1991, written by Tsukasa Hojo. It follows main character Ryo Saiba and his partner Kaori, the younger sister of Ryo's old friend who was murdered. Together, they run an underground business called City Hunter, which is basically a private detective agency. The main plot is the two characters teaming up to solve crime and save the city. And naturally, Ryo is a bit of a womanizer, with Kaori constantly beating on him because they have this sort of will they won't they relationship going on. Overall, it's a pretty simple noir story. However, also a successful one, because City Hunter has sold over 50 million volumes and was rated 57 in a 2021 poll of top 100 manga of all time. Funnily enough, exactly one spot above Chainsaw Man, which is just really funny to me for some reason. Anyway, City Hunter then got an anime adaptation from none other than Studio Sunrise, and along with the 120 plus episodes of the TV anime, Sunrise also put together 6 City Hunter movies that aired until 1999, of which 3 were theatrical. Goodbye My Sweetheart was actually the second of the 3 TV movies airing in 1997, though for some inexplicable reason, it was picked as the first City Hunter property to get an English release and be aired in America, under the title City Hunter the Motion Picture. I have no idea why this decision was made and couldn't find anything online about it, but I guess it makes me pretty lucky since my first entry into this series will be the same as if I was an English-speaking anime fan in the 90s. Goodbye My Sweetheart opens at an airport. We're introduced to a villain simply called the Professor as he escapes from a police ambush on his way into the city. This is intercut with our main character Ryo also on the run, though seemingly from a large gang of women led by an incredibly buff character named Erica. Ryo is captured and tied up because he owes the women money, and when he offers to pay them with his body, you know, like a gentleman, Erica is the first to take him up on his offer. Honestly, that opening is pretty much everything you need to know. Ryo is a womanizer who gets into sex comedy type shenanigans, but there's also a serious villain on the loose that he'll have to defeat. Pretty much the only thing not established is Kaori, who shows up after the title card to tangle the duo up in the movie's plot. That plot following the lead actress in an upcoming musical, Miss Emmy, contacting Ryo and saying she's looking for her long-lost brother. She thinks he may be trying to contact her since she got gifted a mysterious bouquet of black roses that only he would know to give. The rest of the story then follows Ryo helping Miss Emmy solve the mystery of her brother, which untangles into a widespread conspiracy somehow involving this enigmatic professor, who shows up at every turn to attack and/or thwart our heroes. And as the movie keeps going, it keeps increasing the stakes and the action until the final set piece of the film is a train with a bomb strapped to it, almost exactly like the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves, which is incredibly fun. シティハンター、君のような男と出会えたことを神に感謝しないとな。So the entirety of Goodbye My Sweetheart is honestly a very simple, self-contained action noir plot, which probably explains why it was chosen to get imported to America. I don't think you need any context or knowledge of the series to get into this movie, or at least I didn't. The animation is also very good, the action and more dramatic elements are all well handled. There's a scene where Ryo boards the speed train by driving a car into it, which is sick. Overall, it's a great introduction to the franchise. However, there were a few things I didn't quite like. Namely, the editing was really strange sometimes. It had that TV movie vibe where something really dramatic and important happens and then we just move on like it was nothing. I think even just a more bombastic soundtrack here would have helped a lot. Also, and I hate to bring it up, but there's a lot of really weird fan service stuff in this movie. No, I've softened up a lot on that type of content since my video deep dive a while back. I don't really care about most of it, but Rio just kind of assaults people like a lot, and that's kind of where I draw the line. Oh, please don't. Oh, there's an entire scene where he breaks into Miss Emmy's bathroom and tries to flirt with her, and she seems traumatized by the situation, and I did not like that. There's also an example of the tonal whiplash thing I mentioned in my fan service video, which I'm obviously not a fan of, but most of the fan service stuff I can excuse because the movie doesn't take a lot of the story seriously. It's just pretty goofy. Overall, I'd give City Hunter Goodbye My Sweetheart a can watch. This movie is made to be enjoyed on a Saturday afternoon when you're bored out of your mind on your couch, so if you're ever in that situation, put it on. If you're not, I don't think there's a ton of reason to seek it out. It doesn't have much about it that's super memorable, but it is a solid movie. It entertained me for most of its runtime and made me curious to check out the TV show. And that's about the best a TV movie like this can do. Oh, hell yeah. Third spin. I have thus far gotten a movie and a music video, which were enjoyable and I liked them, but they were not anime series. And I have not seen like an actual show in a very long time, so I'm hoping for a show. Let's hope that we get a show. What are we gonna get? What? And our third anime this video is, this. I don't know what this is. It's called Odorokiban, and it was made by Taka Furukawa in 1975. It's up on YouTube, and I watched the whole thing. If you can tell me what I'm supposed to be looking at, please let me know. Well, actually, I know what I'm supposed to be looking at. It just doesn't help. This is what's called a phenakistoscope, which is a really complicated word for these spinning disc things from all the way back in 1833 that were basically the very first form of animation. People would draw slightly different images around a disc and then spin it, and when viewed through a small slit, it would appear to move. These are actually some examples I found on the Wikipedia page that show off the effect a lot better, because all of the versions of Odorokiban I found online were in 360p and looked terrible. Furukawa, the creator, as I found out, was actually an animator that worked on some shows like Tetsujin 28 Go back in the 60s, before he went independent and started making weird art house projects and some commercials here and there. Odorokiban, which means something like surprise party, was essentially an attempt to revive the phenakistoscope style, which seemed to be pretty successful, even winning an award at an international animated film festival. But that's about all I can say on this, because it's a weird art house piece, and I don't know what it means, and I can't even find a high enough quality video of it to see all the details. I'm giving this one a don't watch. Sorry to all the phenakistoscope fans watching this. Maybe next time. I just want a show to watch. Just give me a show to watch, please. Dear God. Give me something, anything. That is not what I wanted. I'm getting real tired of this randomizer already, because our fourth anime is Best Care Group, which is a series of commercials for the Best Care Group, an at-home elderly nursing company that operates out of Japan. Why is this on my anime list? And why is it ranked in the top 10,000 shows? Who is watching this to give it that high a rating? What psychopath is watching commercials for an elderly nursing company to rank them on my anime list? I am so confused. Well, going to the company's YouTube channel to watch the commercials, they're actually not that bad. There's 3 commercials that are animated, and they're all basically about different elderly people being looked after by the Best Care Group, who all kinda hate having to be in a nursing home, but grow to enjoy the nurses. The animation is this very sketchy, almost children's book style with very limited movement, and there's usually just background music or minimal sound effects playing. And, Oh, throw him a surprise party. Look at him. Oh, he really enjoyed himself. Look at him eating soup. Did he die? Is he fucking... Oh my god. So basically imagine if the first 15 minutes of Up were a nursing home commercial. And that's kind of like what watching one of these is. I was not expecting anything near the level of emotion that these videos would bring up, which is very weird for what are supposed to be ads. No idea where these would play or anything, but they're honestly pretty good. Solid should watch. They made me want to cry. I am begging. It is my 5th spin now, I think. I am begging to get just any actual anime or just any piece of content. Just give me a show or something, please. Oh my god. What are we gonna get? Oh my god, an actual show. Thank god. Oh, finally, an actual anime. Like a real, honest-to-God anime television series, and it's only 1 season too. My prayers have been answered. This is all foreshadowing. The Honor Student at Magic High School is a 13-episode show made in 2021 by Connect. I'm not really familiar with Connect as a studio. They seem to focus a lot more on isekai or like fantasy light novel adaptations. In hindsight, that should have been suspicious. However, like most of the shows I get on this series, The Honor Student at Magic High School is a spin-off, this time of The Irregular at Magic High School, which was a web novel written in 2008 by Tsutomu Sato that got an anime adaptation by Madhouse in 2014. As far as I can tell, the series is Harry Potter if it was a light novel. It follows the main sibling duo, Tatsuya and Miyuki Shiba, who are ultra-powerful wizard orphans born into a clan of other ultra-powerful wizards. Tatsuya specifically is so overpowered that he had to have a seal placed on his magic to inhibit it, which also inhibits his emotions. He and his sister then go to a magic wizard school that splits students up into 2 main groups based on their magic level, meaning you're either an honor or an irregular. Miyuki ends up joining and becoming an honor student, whereas Tatsuya ends up being an irregular because of the whole magic seal thing. Honors then hate the irregulars for some reason, and even go so far as to call them weeds as an offensive nickname. So basically, our main character is an emotionless, overpowered wizard who is born into a super important family but is disregarded by society and has to overcome magic racism. That's, And well, I don't have a good segue for this, but I'm just going to read you an excerpt from the show's Wikipedia page to summarize an important piece of info you should probably know before we get going. Before the family vacation in Okinawa, Miyuki treated Tatsuya coldly akin to how the other Yotsuba clan members did. She began to warm up to him, and when Tatsuya saved her life, she devoted her entire existence to him. It evolved to the point where she disdains the touch of other males and expresses jealousy towards females around Tatsuya. And this next sentence is a spoiler, so plug your ears. Genetically different from Tatsuya, despite being born from the same parents, Miyuki professes her love to him following their engagement. Oh, and that's the plot of Irregular at Magic High School, where Tatsuya is the main character. Honor Student at Magic High School is a spin-off series that retells the first season of Irregular from Miyuki's perspective. To summarize what that means, here is a review on my anime list. The premise of this show is that it takes the exact same events from Irregular, dumbs them down, and adds more incest. Episode 1 begins with an action scene introducing our heroes. An evil pyromaniac wizard lights a local mall on fire, which Miyuki steps in to stop with her powerful ice magic. Just as a gun. This is, of course, after more than half the episode is dedicated to Miyuki and Tatsuya going on a date together to said mall, where they're continually mistaken for a couple and told how cute they look together. No, your sibling. I'm done. I am checked out. Fuck this. And basically imagine that, but for like 13 episodes. Watching this spin-off without knowing the plot of a regular at Magic High was such a weird experience because Honor at Magic High straight up doesn't have a main story. There are things that happen, people seem to grow and develop, but almost every major plot point happens off-screen. You know, in the main story you're expected to have seen first. So all we're left with is the scraps. It's kind of like if you watched Code Geass by just cutting together all of the school scenes and that's it. Like, yeah, I can piece together what the main story is, and they do spend a lot of time with characters just talking about how they're feeling about everything going on, but every once in a while, a villain will just show up with zero explanation, and then the next scene is a montage talking about how cool the fight scene where the heroes defeated him was. Or characters talking to each other like, man, it sure sucks that our best friend betrayed us and we had to kill him. Anyways, let's go to the onsen. 3D horse. Now, obviously, it isn't fair to the show to be critiquing it like this. It is my fault for checking it out on its own. But the point of this series was never to be fair. It was to check out random anime and review them on their own merit. And what Honor at Magic High does have going for it, and what it replaces most of the story with, is fan service. Mostly between Miyuki and her biological brother. Okay. Come on, dude. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. Anime was a mistake. I'm just tired, you know? I just don't want to be around anymore, man. I just don't want to be here, dude. You've got horny dream sequences, horny bath scenes, horny end credits, a scene where the student council president gives an MLK I have a dream speech to try and end magical racism. Horny Olympics. None of it is terrible. None of it had me wanting to quit the show, but it is most of the content. So unless you are watching the show specifically for the fan service, you're just not getting a whole lot here.
Yuki,
that's better. So to state the obvious, I didn't like the honor student at Magic High School. It's a strong don't watch. I do want to check out the main series at some point to see how much better it is, but having spent over 5 hours of my life slogging through this, I'm good for now. Plus, I've already reviewed The Daily Life of the Immortal King on this channel, which is a very good parody of the overpowered magic user concept. He's even got the magic seal that inhibits his emotions and everything. So just, you know, check that out instead, maybe. I've just given up at this point. I just want a good show to watch. That's the whole reason I created this series in the first place, was to find a good show to watch. And I've watched some good stuff today, but not a good anime series. And I have not seen a real anime series in over a month now. So I'm giving up. I'm spinning the wheel, which, if you don't know, is a giant wheel of every anime recommendation that I have gotten on my YouTube channel since a post I made some time ago. It's got about 380 entries in it, and they are all recommended by you, the YouTube comment section. Someone commented an anime recommendation that I'm about to spin and watch, so let's do that. Okay, so our sixth anime is Mysterious Girlfriend X, recommended by Masako X, which is a very normal romance anime about a boy and a girl falling in love. Nothing weird here, nothing to see, very normal show. Anyways, completely unrelated, I decided to do a poll on my channel asking people if they thought spit was gross. The vast majority said more often than not, and several commenters immediately guessed that I was making a video on Mysterious Girlfriend X. So, content warning, trigger warning, spit and or drool warning. If you think spit is gross like I do and just looking at it is enough to make you gag, prepare yourself. I've censored all of it on YouTube because of reasons, but I just want to put that out there. Maybe avoid watching the uncensored Patreon version for this segment if you can. Nazo no Kanojo Ekisu is a rom-com manga written in 2006 by Riichi Ueshiba that follows main protagonist Akira Tsubaki meeting and falling in love with a mysterious girl, Friend X, in his class named Makoto Urabe. It got an anime adaptation in 2012 by Hoods Entertainment, who you might recognize for also having animated Seikon no Quasar. You know, that show where the main character gets superpowers by drinking breast milk? What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, this show is ranked in the top 1,000 on my anime list in terms of popularity. So it's by no means obscure, but I feel like it is a pretty deep cut just because of the subject matter. I couldn't find a whole lot regarding its reception or popularity outside of that, but if Goku himself recommends it to me, I'm gonna check it out. Fun fact, this show is the reason they have an X in their username. No, it's not. That was a lie, but someone probably believed me. Mysterious Girlfriend opens with our protagonist Tsubaki having a bit of a wet dream. It's about this mysterious girl, Friend X, and he soon wakes up from it and heads to school. At school, would you look at that, there's a new transfer student in class named Urabe, who is assigned to sit next to him. Right off the bat, Urabe is a bit of a weirdo, sleeping all day and laughing so hard she falls over at a completely random point in math class. But that weirdness seems to be a bit charming for our young protagonist. One day after school, Tsubaki actually comes back to the classroom to catch Urabe having slept in, so he goes to wake her up. Urabe looks up, drool still on her chin, eyes all big, and this is the exact point Tsubaki falls in love with her. So after Urabe picks herself up and leaves, Tsubaki picks up some of the drool on her desk with his finger and tastes it. Oh god. Oh fuck. Oh Jesus. Oh. I'm actually about to throw up. Later that night, Tsubaki's dreams of Urabe get much stronger, and the next day he even collapses in gym class. After staying home several days with an unexplainable sickness, Urabe stops by to visit him and ask him how her drool tastes. She knows he tasted it and knows why he's been so sick. Tsubaki is actually lovesick for Urabe and is going through withdrawal from her saliva. So she makes him eat some more of it, which immediately has him feeling better. This then becomes a routine for the two. Every day after school, Urabe gives a bit of saliva to keep Tsubaki from getting sick. And not only does it taste good, but it seemingly gives them the ability to feel whatever the other person is feeling. This whole saliva connection then serves as a pretty good opportunity for Tsubaki to ask Urabe out, which he does successfully. Oh, come on. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? So with that, the two become boyfriend and girlfriend, and their strange relationship begins to blossom. So despite any of my obvious allusions to how weird and sometimes gross this show is, Mysterious Girlfriend X is a pretty cut and dry romance plot. It fully explores the relationship between Tsubaki and Urabe, and the trials and tribulations of high school romance in general. Now, I'm not someone who watches a lot of romance, and usually the shows that I do end up watching, I don't quite click with that often, but for some reason, I just really enjoyed MGX. I think that the main couple was incredibly authentic and realistic, far more than most shows even. There's your obvious stuff in here, like how they deal with jealousy and boundaries and whatnot, but the way that they resolve conflict is almost always very mature and full of communication, which is partly facilitated by the psychic spit bond, but a lot of it still comes down to great character writing. I mean, to put it out there, Makoto Urabe is 100% the manic pixie tomboy dream girl. Not just in her design, which is perfect by the way, but in how she acts all mysterious, Girlfriend X, and has weird ways of dealing with stuff. You wanna eat her saliva, she's more than happy to oblige. Try to give her a hug though, and she pulls a pair of scissors from her panties and attacks you with them. What the hell? What was that? What the fuck? but the show gives her a lot of agency in how she reacts and thinks about things, and oftentimes she's the one driving both the plot and the relationship forward, which I think firmly breaks her out of that archetype. Despite her inherent weirdness, she's incredibly consistent in the way she displays emotion, which Tsubaki learns to understand and rely on. You know, like a normal person in a relationship would. Aside from the romance focus, there is also a fair bit of comedy in here, and a lot of ecchi. I mean, panty scissors that I have to blur on YouTube is one thing, but they go much further than that in later episodes. It is all fairly well driven by the female characters though, and stems from the progressing relationship, with a lot of it tying directly into the plot. So it's honestly a golden example of it, if I'm being honest. Zero complaints. Ultimately, this is a story about a rather unconventional relationship, and goes to great lengths to validate it and show how beautiful it can be. By the last episode, I just wanted to watch more of these characters just interacting and existing, which is the sign of a great show. What I didn't want to see more of, however, was all the saliva. Jesus Christ, it is every 5 minutes that someone is sticking a finger in their mouth and pulling some drool out to shove it in another character's mouth. I cannot stress enough that it is integral to the plot and the communication between the main couple, which is unfortunate because I found out I am really sensitive to that kind of thing and had to look away multiple times an episode. Oh, okay, this is a regular thing. This is a thing that's gonna be happening more than once. Stop. Stop it. So gross. It's so gross every time. It's never not gross to me. So look at that. After watching the full thing, I can totally look past the drool as a whole. The overall story is fantastic enough for me to do that, but the individual scenes were pretty rough to get through. And that's probably just me and my sensitivities, but I just want to make that clear to everyone. If anything, it should be a massive compliment to the show that I liked it so much despite being disgusted by the core premise. So this might be a bit hyperbolic, and I don't have a ton of experience to make this claim have any weight to it, but Mysterious Girlfriend X is the best romance anime and one of the best examples of romance in anime that I've seen. I'm giving this show a must watch. And that is it for this episode of the Anime Randomizer. I am tired mostly. But this was fun. I always look forward to whatever my website gives me. If you want to use it yourself, it's linked in the description. Let me know what you get in the comments. And let me know any anime you want me to add to my recommendations wheel as well. Just make sure if you recommend something to include the words "you should watch" in the comment so that way I can search for them and easily add them to the wheel. And if you want your name scrolling up the side of the screen like all of my lovely patrons here, feel free to join them at patreon.com/Lextorias. I'll hopefully do another one of these soon, though I might actually just go and watch some regular shows I've been putting off in the meantime. I've also been getting really into reading manga lately too, so I don't know. Whatever my next video's on, it's hopefully going to be pretty short and pretty sweet. As always, thanks for watching, thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring the video, and I'll see you next time.